Audrey Musienko was surprised to find an animal during his morning walk. Despite expecting nothing out of the ordinary, he stumbled upon an animal that he initially mistook for a puppy. The cold winter morning had prompted him to go for a walk as a form of exercise to warm himself up, but he hadn't anticipated making such an interesting discovery. Lucky for Andra, he resided in a secluded area of Siberia with a forest behind his house. He put on his boots, donned his warmest coat, and ventured outside. He walked on a well-trodden path that many before him had used and many more would use in the future. Andrew was a frequent visitor to the woods, and his routine was always the same. However, on this day, he decided to deviate from his usual route. He turned left and followed a path he had never taken before. The trees in this new area appeared taller and wider, and Andrew could barely see the sunlight filtering through the leaves. Suddenly, Andrew heard a faint yet distinct cry for help. He traced the sound and soon located the source. Lying curled up against a tree was a small animal in distress. It was a puppy. The puppy was unconscious and appeared to be no more than a few weeks old. Andrew was saddened by the thought of someone abandoning such a helpless creature in the middle of the forest. He approached the shivering animal and picked it up, cradling it in his arms. He hoped that his gloves would be able to provide some warmth to the small animal. Andrew's only priority was to ensure the safety of the puppy. He quickly returned home. As he saved the abandoned pup, he felt that this was going to be a significant moment in his life. When he arrived home, Andrew quickly wrapped the freezing puppy in blankets. He turned on the heat and collected water. After a few minutes of care, the puppy had stopped shivering and seemed to be in better condition. Andrew contacted the local veterinarian to schedule a checkup to ensure the animal was healthy. Despite only knowing the puppy for a few hours, Andrew knew they would become close. Without much thought, he decided to adopt the puppy and named him Killer. In the following months, Killer grew bigger. Andrew observed that his new pet had a hearty appetite, which had been evident from the first day they met. As time passed, the puppy's hunger increased, and Andrew knew that young animals required a lot of nutrients, particularly canines and other mammals which needed to eat regularly to maintain their energy and weight. Despite this, Andrew was still surprised by Killer's eating habits. As the puppy grew larger, its facial features became more defined, but its body shape became stockier. Andrew became increasingly curious about what breed of dog Killer was, as he had never seen a dog like it before. Andrew turned to his friends, who were also dog owners, for help in identifying Killer's breed. However, they were just as puzzled as he was. He sent pictures and videos of Killer at different stages of growth to various people, hoping for an answer, but to no avail. Something as simple as figuring out a dog-specific breed ended up becoming an impossible challenge. As the final result, Andrew reached out to an animal expert. The expert asked for a meeting in person so that she would be able to identify what breed a Killer was. Soon after, Andrew and a Killer were in the car driving towards the expert's location. What do you think happened next? Comment down below with your thoughts. Andrew walked into the practice with the Killer attached by a leash. After speaking to the receptionist, he was directed to the expert's room. As he walked in, the expert's jaw dropped. The woman couldn't believe her eyes.
Also, if you've not done so already, please subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell to get inspired by these animal stories every day. Now, back to the story.
Andrew had spent all that time thinking that he was raising a puppy, only to find out later that it's not a dog. It turned out that Killer was a wolf. To make matters even more intriguing, a Killer was not just any random wolf, but a Eurasian gray wolf. The species is well known to be the largest canine on Earth. Wolf cubs and puppies share many resemblances, so it was only natural for Andrew to make that mistake. However, as a Killer grew older, it was almost undeniable that he was a gray wolf. The animal expert explained to Andrew that the size difference was one of the key things to look out for. After finding out the true species of his dear pet, Andrew had to look out for a Killer's well-being. It turns out that many people find the idea of a tamed wolf intriguing, worried about a Killer had reached the local. These zookeepers started to bombard Andrew with phone calls and emails trying to convince him to send a Killer to the zoo. Andrew had heard negative stories about zoos, which made him hesitant to bring his pet to one or even give it up to one. The alternative of releasing Killer back into the wild was also a consideration. Some people suggested this option to Andrew, expressing concern for his and his neighborhood's safety. Andrew was uncertain about this option, as there was no guarantee that Killer would be safe in the wild. He remembered the day he first found the puppy alone and helpless. While some people may argue that releasing Killer back into the wild was the most ethical decision, Andrew had his own reasons for not believing that to be true. Instead, the best choice seemed to be evident. Had already spent so much time with Andrew and adapted to a new lifestyle. It only made sense to let the wolf stay with him. Andrew had already taken ownership of the wolf, and it didn't feel right to give him up. Initially, Andrew's family was hesitant about his decision to raise a wolf. There are many potential dangers when it comes to interacting with wild animals, and wolves are known for their unpredictability, carnivorous nature, and strength. Despite this, over the time Andrew spent getting to know Killer, the puppy had never shown any aggressive behavior towards humans. Andrew saw no reason to be afraid. Killer was just like a domesticated dog. It had been over a year and a half since Andrew adopted Killer, and they had formed a strong bond. Andrew decided to trust his instincts instead of paying attention to the opinions of others. Eventually, his friends and family fully supported his decision. Andrew was glad that he had stumbled upon the young animal in the woods, and Killer was grateful that someone had found him. To this day, Andrew and Killer live happily together in his Siberian home. The bond he formed with the puppy inspired him to help other wild animals in need. He established several wildlife sanctuaries across Russia where gray wolves can live safely. These sanctuaries have gained popularity and now provide sanctuary to a range of other canines such as foxes and coyotes. Andrew's efforts have saved the lives of many animals. To raise awareness and generate empathy for canines, he turned to social media to share his experiences. He has a popular Instagram account called Black Canadian Wolf with over 100,000 followers. His online fans are regularly treated to a variety of pictures and videos. The internet is an effective platform for raising awareness about the protection of canines. Andrew's story with Killer has touched the hearts of people globally, and it is hoped that it has had a similar impact on you. I hope you like this video. Please give us thumbs up and consider share it with your friends and family. Subscribe to our channel. Also press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. I hope to see you in another video. Thank you and take care.